this video we're going to look at the seated forward fold. So we have our standing forward fold where you bend right over. Now we're going to do the same thing but with seated. And it's a little bit harder because our hips are flat on the ground. There's not as much maneuverability as when you're standing. Okay, they're free to move. So it's a little bit harder. So for this posture, this stretches out the hamstrings. This will stretch out your calves as well if they're tight. This will also stretch your lower back as well. They're the main muscles. It stretches a few other bits, but they're the main muscles that we're looking to stretch from this posture. So basically your legs are straight in this particular variation. There are slightly different poses where the leg is in a different position, but for this one, the legs are straight. And instead of just rolling the shoulders and trying to reach forward, what we do is we roll the shoulders back and we move forward from the hips, which is much harder. So you move from your hips and it feels like you're only getting a few inches, and then you kind of get stuck and it's like, oh, I'm not doing this right, but you are doing it right. If I roll my shoulders and arch my back, I can get a little bit further. So we don't want to do that. We want to move from the hips with this. So we roll the shoulders back and then I'm just leaning forward. So I like to just put my hands on my shins and they just slide forward till we go, oh, I can feel that stretch. So generally what happens is you'll start to feel a stretch. If you've gone too far forward, your knees are going to start to lift because your brain is saying, what the hell is happening here? I can feel this tightness. If you keep going, you might pull something. So we start to move our knees upwards automatically to take the pressure off what we're doing. So if that starts to happen, which it will, when you lean forward, you'll feel the stretch. If you keep going and you feel the knees lift, what we then do is we bring it back a little bit just until the knees are on the floor again. And then we hold that position. We breathe in and then we exhale. And when you exhale, that's when the real stretching takes place. You can see the difference in how far we get. We breathe in and then we exhale. So all of a sudden you've got much deeper just from breathing out rather than trying to force it forward to get down, because that won't work. Okay, it has to be done very, very naturally. So generally our calves and especially our hamstrings are super tight, and also the lower back, so we can't get in too much. So what we can do to ease into this is we can bend the knees to begin with. Okay, so if I bend my knees and I lean forward, you can see, look at the difference. I can get my chest down here, I can touch my toes. When I stretch my legs out, that's as far as I get. When I bend my knees and take the hamstrings away, all of a sudden, I'm getting right down. So this is the big thing. So what we can do is, for beginners and starting and making this easier, if you've got really tight, is just do it this way. Keep the knees bent. You can also put your bolster underneath your knees and do your forward fold from here. How we increase the inflexibility over time is you can just straighten the leg a little bit as you go forward. And it's a great idea to do one leg at a time. And then you can pull it back and then do the other one. Or we can do both legs together and just move the heels about 1/2 inch to 1 inch forward. You go a little further. Again, you can inch forward. And what happens is you ease into the stretch nice and gently without causing any pain or causing the muscles to tighten and causing your brain to switch on the brakes and the Golgi tendies to say, oh, we're not going anymore, we're not doing that, that's too much. So when we're doing this, if we're doing it with our knees bent to begin with and we get to here, we do the same thing. We breathe in and we exhale. And you'll see the difference. You'll feel it in your back. You'll feel it in the legs. When we inch forward, we might do this over a period of days or weeks. We might just stay doing it this way for a little while. A couple of weeks down the road, you might go 1/2 inch forward. And that might be your starting position. And what can change this is by having a bolster underneath to begin with for a couple of weeks. Then down the road, you might have a pillow, which is a little bit lower, or you might have a rolled up towel. So each time down over the next few weeks, you'll find that there'll be less and less under the knees as you're coming into the forward fold. But this will take time, okay? Remember that when you're looking at a lot of the people on YouTube that can put their head onto their knees, they've been doing this for probably 15, 20 years. And doing it constantly, not just a class every now and then. For those of you who are running and doing martial arts and things like that, especially if you're running because there's a lot of poundage around the joints, the muscles get tighter, it's not as easy to do this stuff. You know, if you're just doing yoga constantly every single day, you're going to get a lot more flexible. If you're only doing this once a week, it's going to take a long time. So don't worry about trying to get your head to your knees. What we're trying to do is just stretch the muscles. So start off with your knees, for beginners especially, start off with your knees bent and just work it into it, and eventually you'll be able to get a little deeper. You'll be able to straighten the legs a little bit more. Alternatively, you could have one leg bent and lean forward. So the seated forward fold is literally just leaning forward from your hip, because we want to stretch all the back of the legs and we want to stretch the lower back as well. So this is what we're looking for at the beginning, eventually to get to here. But you'll find that when you lift your knees, you can get a little bit further. Again, take your deep breaths in and exhale and bring it back. And like all of the postures, play with these different types of positions, okay? Don't just keep the legs straight and keep doing this over and over again. Play with bending the knees, putting stuff under. Make it comfortable. Try and make it enjoyable. Make it so that you can relax, so that when you breathe out, you can really feel the difference. And ultimately that we don't cause any damage. We don't want to force anything. So any kind of stretching where you're forcing it is wrong. You should be taking it to the point where you go, oh, I can feel that. I can just feel that. Maybe you feel it in your back, maybe you feel it in your hamstrings, or both, till you just go, oh yeah, I can just feel it. That's your position. Breathe in, exhale. All of a sudden, look, I've gone much deeper into it. Breathe again, exhale. And you can see that there's a progression just from breathing out. So this is your seated forward fold. Nice and relaxed into it. Remember to bend the knees so that you can get down further and hold the positions, and then eventually we can start to straighten. And it could take weeks and months before you're able to put your legs flat on the ground. That's okay. This is a long time journey. This is not a quick fix. This is something that we're going to be doing progressively, hopefully for the rest of our lives. So play with those different variations, have a bit of fun, don't cause any pain, just take it to the point where you can just feel the stretch, and remember to breathe in, exhale, and you'll gently increase the flexibility. So have fun.